right, so in this video, I'm going to talk about hurdles in your business and how they really affect, your business, financially, everything, okay? So typically what happens is, just say, for the last few years, you're stuck at like $750,000, okay? And, before that, you were like, first year you were at 50, then you're 250, then 500, and then you keep on, like, for the next 3 years, you're stuck at 750 grand. The reason why you're stuck is because there's some kind of hurdle that you need to basically jump over in order to get to the next level. You basically need to level up. You might be stuck, video game terms, like you might be stuck on level 5, and there's some kind of quest you need to do in order to get to level 6. And once you get to level 6, well, that unlocks the $1 million business, okay? Or whatever the number happens to be. But the thing to be careful of is you need to really analyze what's going on within your business and what the next hurdle actually is. Because I'm dealing with this in my own business. We have grown substantially each year, except for this year, we're about the same numbers as we were last year. Our profitability is way up, but we should have done a hell of a lot better. And I thought my next hurdle was really the sales portion. And it is. Like, we close at like 5 and 8%, which is just complete bullshit, right? But obviously we have a ton of leads coming in. Like, I looked at my numbers, we've had 4,500 phone calls this year. That doesn't include all the contact forms and everything else, just phone calls, 4,500. And it's mid-October. So we're gonna end up the year at like 5,000 or 5,200 phone calls, okay? So my natural inclination was, okay, we need to improve the sales. If we get that closer to, if right now we're 6 to 8%, well, if we get that thing to like 14, 16%, well, then I have like a $5 million business. Like, it's that simple, right? But, and we're working on that too. But I realized, because of the conversation there were some issues within the business, and because of the conversations I'm starting to have, it's not the sales that's the issue. The sales is like a symptom, but the main issue is me. It's me. And it's just the way, there's different factors. It's the way I'm trying to basically not do anything within my business, right, without having people in place. It's the way I communicate with my people and how I motivate them, right? And it's just really the character traits and what I do on a daily basis. So there's like 3 core things I need to be working on, and I haven't been. I always looked at, well, this is the problem, like, let's fix this. But I never looked in the mirror and said, what's the problem? Like, what can you improve upon and everything else? And there's a lot. Like, there's a lot. And main issues is because I don't relate with people very well. Like, my wife swears I'm like partially autistic, which is, it's possible. It's just the way I've always been. I don't relate to people. It's like, I'm very matter of fact. It helps me in some ways. It helps me see differently than a lot of other people. But it's also the reason that's holding me back, because I am like fully confident that I should not be having a $2.5 million a year business. I am capable of having a $50 million business. Like, I just am. But I don't have one for a few reasons. Really, I don't want a $50 million a year business unless I'm not working. But the other thing is, it's just me as a person. I don't have yet. It's just, we'll talk about mindset too. But I don't have the skill. My skill set for different areas of the business is not as high as it needs to be. I need to level that up. So for me, what I've been doing, and if this is a problem for you as well, is I need to learn better ways of dealing with people, whether it be my employees or customers. Well, customers I really don't deal with anymore, but employees, of how to talk to them, how to motivate them, how to see what motivates them, so that way I can get them to the next level. Because at the end of the day, if I'm trying to run a business where I'm not involved, well, I need the people that's working for me to be fully committed and working as a team to accomplish the mission, right? And at this point, we didn't have that. we just didn't. And it's hard to sometimes look at it and say, you know, you're, you know, talking to myself, like, you're just not good enough. Like, that's what it's coming to. But the good thing is, you can always do something about it. The favorite thing I like to say all the time is, you know, for me and my wife, we talk about money. Like, I have no problem talking about money to anyone. Like, I think it should be an open conversation. I feel like the reason why poor people stay poor is because we are taught not to talk about money. But you have someone that is rich, their mindset is completely different. It just is. They're taught a different way. I'm trying to teach my son a different way, and he's going to be a hell of a lot better off than I was just because of the knowledge that he has, right? But anyway, you got to look at it. Like, what can I do better? And one of the things I like to say all the time to my wife, because, like, my ambitions are high. Like, you know, by next year, I want to basically, we have a house down the shore. I want to knock that down. I want to put a new house there because it's tiny as shit. And then within 3 years, I want to be able to, and I don't know if we're going to actually do it, but I want to be able and prepared to basically move to, I really want to move to Hawaii. Never even been there, but I'm convinced that I need to be near the ocean and mountains. Like, I love hiking, surfing, and all that kind of stuff, and I just want to be near nicer people. So, so she would always say to me, like, we don't have the money. And I would always say, we don't have the money yet. So it's a lot of times the way you talk to yourself is how everything's going to play out. So when you get into these situations where you feel like you're not good enough, if you feel like there's issues, if you feel like whatever it may be, just add yet to the end of it. Like, whatever it may be. Like, my memory used to be absolutely horrible. I'm still working on it, but like the next thing I have to start working on is like people's names, because I can't remember them for shit. But I have to make sure I tell myself, like, I don't have a good memory yet. Okay? Because what ends up happening is when you keep on telling your brain that I don't have a good memory, I can't socialize, I'm not good with talking to people, I'm not whatever, your brain believes it and it makes it come true. Like, it sounds crazy, but it makes it come true. So what you have to do is reframe how you talk to yourself. And I know it sounds crazy, but just change how you talk to yourself. So again, you know, I don't have a good memory yet. Okay. And then what you need to do is work on things. And because what'll end up happening, it happened for me for memory, because I would tell myself for like literally years. I'm 37 now. I've never had a good memory. Never. Couldn't remember shit. Couldn't remember where I left my keys. Couldn't remember like where I parked, if I parked in a different spot. Like, nothing. Got to the point where I couldn't remember my son's birthday. Like, that was because of stress and the shitty job I used to work at. But what happens is when you start having these little wins, I'm like, like, I remembered this. And it's like, you can do different brain drills if that's what you need to do, is focus on your memory. But if you need to work on yourself on how to, you know, talk to employees and stuff like that, well, when you have the knowledge, like I'm right now going through, you know, how to win friends and influence people, which is a great book. I have like 10 minutes left. And then, but something popped up in my head, so I had to like create a video. And there's other ones I'll be listening to. But when you have these, you know, I started making small changes, and then I would talk to my office manager, or supposed to be my office manager. It's a different conversation. And I said, am I doing better? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, awesome. Because I've known her for like ever, like 12 years or something. And we have a great relationship, but like there was things I was doing within my business and how I was talking to her and everything else, it just wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. So what, you know, I started making these small changes, and after reading this or listening to this book, I realized that literally everything I'm not supposed to do, I was doing, and just how I've always done it. And I'm realizing, again, going back to the original point of the video, which is now 9 minutes long, is that I had to work on myself. So anyway, things can always improve. Just because you can't do it now doesn't mean that you can't do it in the future, right? So, and just because a lot of times they talk about genetics and everything else. So if you come from a family that has like an abusive family, right? And you find yourself doing those same character traits, it's because it's a learned behavior. And what you have to do is break that behavior. And the first thing is, you know, to start talking about it in a different way. So because my wife came from a crazy Italian family from like South Philly and stuff, and I'm like, we don't act like that. Like, we're better than that, and we're like, because of this and this. So anyway, have an awesome day. Hopefully these videos help. It's really, when I create these things, it's really because I'm working through some issues in my own life, and you know, it helps to know, for me, it helps to know that I'm not the only screwed up one out there, personally. So anyway, hope you have an awesome day. Talk to you soon. Bye.